It's actually amazing that I started with this little fella, and now we've got a fully fledged. We've got 2 rooms now, 2 rooms of the Disney Dolls house. Although in the channel it's only one because I haven't posted the other 2 yet. That's going to be the special next year. But just think, Mickey Mouse. Whoops, I've got clumsy fingers today. Mickey Mouse was the very first, and now he's got loads of friends. We started with Mickey. We now have Baloo's, Pooh Bear, and Goofy. And we have an amazing... I'll do a picture now of what the room looks like. But it is incredible how it is. 1 second. Sorry. So where are we going from here? Well, we are going to continue with it next year, working on from issue number 18, which will finish the Frozen room. So I'll show you where I am at this very moment. And then we are going to carry on with the Alice in Wonderland. I think if my schedule is correct, we'll have finished the Alice in Wonderland. We might have started on the basement. I know we're not going to start on the top floor. I am so behind it, it's ridiculous. But hopefully this year, it was supposed to be the plan for this year, but it didn't happen. But hopefully next year we can start adding personal modifications to it. Now, one plan that I've got, which is still on the list, is to do... I happen to, by chance, get 2 of the pots, the honey pots. And what I plan to do is turn in that... one of the Disney episodes of Winnie the Pooh had, in fact it's in the book as well, had Pooh gave Eeyore, for his birthday, a random honey jar. It was meant to have honey in it, but Pooh being Pooh had eaten it. Meanwhile, Piglet had an accident with a full-blown balloon and could only present him with the tiniest of snippet of the balloon. Basically, where the balloon had burst plus the string. That's all he could give. And my plan is to turn that honey jar, and I've got the balloon already, into the very useful jar, which was basically what they called it. My favourite quote from that film will always be, I'm so glad I brought you a very useful pot to put things in. And Piglet says, oh, and I'm very glad I gave you a balloon to put in the very useful pot. That's my aim. Hopefully, if things go well, what I also want to do is make a start on a Halloween plan that I have. I've got Halloween ideas that I want to do. And one of those Halloween ideas is to make a re-adaptation, smaller version, of what is known as the Pepper's Ghost effect. Anyone who's Disney will know that the Pepper's Ghost effect, it's mainly in the Haunted Mansion, or it was made famous in the Haunted Mansion. It is in other areas as well, including the Pooh Bear ride. I believe it's used in was used in the Monsters Inc. Ride, and it's definitely used in the Twin Towers. I don't know if it's used in the brand new Guardians of the Galaxy one yet, partly because I've never been, and I've never seen evidence of it in the videos that I've seen from Guardians of the Galaxy. It'd be interesting if it is, but the idea is it's a way of expressing ghosts by not physically putting them. It's a combination of using mirrors and projection in the same room, and a kind of mini version of it. I'm still studying exactly how it works before I think about doing it. It's one of the things that I need to look up and figure out myself. Hopefully it can be done. I don't know if it can be 100% perfect, because I'm basically taking a world's famous effect of Disney and trying to minimize it. But if I can understand it enough, I think I can do a basic interpretation. I have ideas and I have plans for it, and I think I know roughly how it's done, but I need to gain some more experience in the building industry before, and in the toy industry, before building up to this kind of climax. My hope is that if not this year, then certainly next year there will be a sorry, when I say this year, I mean 2023. I'm planning ahead. If not 2023, certainly 2024 will be a Halloween special where you will see, hopefully, fingers crossed, if I've worked it out, the Pepper's Ghost effect. There's also quite a few things that I would quite like to do. If the house is big enough, I do plan on doing a cheeky video for April Fool's Day where a lot of things that are supposed to be in one room gets moved into another room. I haven't planned that one yet. I need to plan that one. And another idea, certainly for the Alice in Wonderland room, which is after the Frozen room, literally issue 20. I kind of want to play with the idea, because the one thing I love about Alice in Wonderland is it's very topsy-turvy. Very upside down, very topsy-turvy. I think, certainly in the Kingdom Hearts game, I need to watch the actual movie again. But certainly in the Kingdom Hearts film, there was a bit where she enters a room and it's completely upside down. You've got the ceiling is the floor and the floor is the ceiling. I kind of want to re-establish that. I might not go completely overboard, so the floor tiles will still be the floor tiles. Up in the ceiling will be whatever they do for the ceiling. I don't know what they've got planned for that yet. And I'm not in enough of a builder's models experience to be able to say, yes, I can do that. But certainly one of my ideas is to turn the wallpaper upside down. So it's got wallpaper tiles, kind of walls that you get in the kitchen. And I kind of want to flip that round. So you've got the tiles on the floor, tiles on the top, wallpaper at the bottom. So you get the kind of upside down effect. Now, when I spoke about this on the Facebook page, they said that you'd have to be full broke. So you probably want to think about putting the actual furniture on the ceiling. I have a plan for that. I just need to work out if it works. So that might be something that I do later in the stages. Being that I want to put Velcro at the bottom of the furniture, so that you can have an alternative, like I can switch it around, move them around a little bit. I might even just go full broke and have the whole ceiling as white Velcro, depending on what they've got planned for the ceiling, so that all you need to do is put Velcro at the bottom of the items, and then you can sort of move them around. It's a two-way piece. It's emphasizing the room that I saw in Kingdom Hearts, where they were upside down. You had the chairs on the ceiling. You had, I don't know if I can interpret the standing up ceiling light, but certainly it was to that extent that it had basically the room go flip right up. But also the fact that you could move the items around on the ceiling is a sort of hint to Sword in the Stone, which is another of my favourite Disney shows. And Sword in the Stone, I don't know if you guys have seen it, it has a scene. It's quite a famous song called Higidus Figurus. It's basically Merlin is moving from his little cottage home to the castle to teach Arthur reading, writing, arithmetics, and basically be his teacher. So instead of going through this whole hassle of I need to pack everything, he casts a spell and all of the items and objects and furniture in his house moves into the suitcase. I might, if I can clever enough, try and imitate the suitcase as well. But the idea being is that the furniture is alive and it can move around on the ceiling or on the floor. Again, I haven't thought that far into it yet. My main aim at the moment is to build the doll's house. Any inspiration that I have in the process of building the doll's house will come and go as it is. I think it's also part of the reason, because I do have a plan for the back wall of the Mickey Mouse. Being that one of my favourite composers was a guy named Howard Ashman. You might know him from The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. I know him from Oliver and Company, and I also know him as one of the composers / lyrics in a anti-drug campaign that was in the 1960s, I think, if I remember rightly. I'm not from the 1960s, but I had heard the cartoon, All Stars cartoon, that the song comes from when I was a kid. And certainly when I was an adult again, I saw it again and went, that is really clever. I had not realised until recently that Howard Ashman was part of that until I did further research on it. And certainly I had no idea. I don't know how I'm going to interpret this, but Howard Ashman was also involved in the Little Shop of Horrors. He was director, composer, and lyric to two of the film and also the Broadway version of Little Shop of Horrors, which I also want to kind of interpret into the film, into the montage that I'm going to put on the wall. I know he died of AIDS, because he one of the saddest things about Beauty and the Beast is he was working on Beauty and the Beast when he was very, very, very ill from AIDS. And unfortunately, he passed away before he could even see the film. I think he'd seen little snippets before then, but he passed away before the actual premiere. Which is why when you see the cartoon version, you actually have the famous quote, "The man who gave the mermaid her voice and the beast his soul." That's a famous quote, and that was in tribute to Howard Ashman and all of his work, because he did a fantastic job throughout all of it, and he went through such a hard time. I was thinking of having something hinting to Pride in my little montage. However, this is going to sound really awful, but I don't know if he was actually gay and that was how he got the AIDS. Because now we know a lot more about AIDS. We know that actually it's transmitted. You don't have to be gay to get AIDS. You can be straight and have AIDS. So I don't know enough about that background to emphasize. I certainly want to give the hint that he died of AIDS and HIV. But whether I'm going to go into the full force of the Pride theme, maybe one of you guys can comment. If you guys know more about Howard Ashman or want to help, comment down below on your ideology of it. Whether you know, I am going to do more research. I want to put as much research as I can into this because I do appreciate. One of the things that annoyed me when I saw the live action, there's actually a famous lit line in one of the songs from the cartoon. It's the mob song, and the song goes, I'm going to get a copyright strike for this, I apologise, Disney. We will fight what we don't understand it, and it scares us. There's been rumours that was Howard Ashman's way of saying he was fighting a very misunderstood disease at the time. And of course he was afraid, he was scared, everyone else was scared and afraid. And I think he wanted to kind of hint what he was going through. And it disappointed me that they changed the mob song lyrics to eliminate that line from it. I can't remember off the top of my head what the new lyrics are, because the second I heard it when I saw the live action, I was so furious because I thought there's the one true interpretation that Howard Ashman had slipped in that is sort of known, sort of half known in the Disney industry. And I might have been overreacting to it, because this may have been a conscious choice of the director. But I just felt that was so disrespectful, that you had this one line hinted on such an amazing man, and it was just removed. The other thing that annoyed me about the live action was, yet again, they got rid of the Human Again song. In case you're wondering, in the original cartoon version, there is no song called Human Again. It was a song that was written during the making of Beauty and the Beast. It was removed due to time consequence, and it didn't make that much in the way of sense when it came to the plot. And then Beauty and the Beast went to Broadway. The person who who directed, basically rewrote the lyrics so that it would make more sense. So it was more how the characters were feeling as they were slowly realising that there was a chance that they could become human again. And it was their expressions on their lives and what was going on. And you kind of had a hint that Maurice was trying to gather people up. The main problem that they had was, where was Maurice? What was happening to the townfolk? Was LeFou still hovering around Belle's house, desperately trying to find out? I think the fact that they focus more on the actual enchanted characters rather than because we'd seen Maurice at that point be rejected by the village, and at that point we'd also seen LeFou had been standing outside the house, probably freezing to death. So the fact that they focused on the enchantment kind of eliminated the fact, okay, well, we're going to move away from that. Here is for how these people are feeling. And you also get the kind of build-up of the relationship between Beauty and the Beast. So when they went to DVD and they did a special edition with Beauty and the Beast, they put in being human again as their special thing. And then when they went to the live action, they then removed it again. It's like, oh my god. But I'm dribbling a little bit. The point is, there are quite a few things that I do want to do for Howard Ashman's one. It's still in the planning stage. I need to actually figure. It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be in the Frozen Wall. I don't know why. The money that I kind of had was, it was either going to be in Ariel's room, i.e. the bathroom, or it was going to be in Belle's room, or it was going to be in one of the adjoining rooms connected to them. And then I took another look at the actual position of the doll's house and the walls of the hallways. And the stairway made it incredibly difficult to be able to go, okay, well, this is where the memorial is supposed to be. However, Mickey Mouse has two walls that is completely plain. There is no windows. It is just a plain wallpaper wall. So it might be that I'll have a look at other walls and make my decision then on which wall I want to do. My money is still on wanting to do the Beauty and the Beast, do it in the Beauty and the Beast wall, particularly because of how close Howard Ashman was to that one. It's a huge decision that I have to make, and if I get it wrong, it is going to offend, I imagine, quite a lot of people, and the last thing I want to do is offend a lot of people. So it's a big decision on my part. Other ideas I've got for the Disney Dolls house. It was an idea that I kind of stole from someone else. They did in one of the issues. I'm so behind. I can actually see all the issues to my side here. We have Nana's kennel and we have Nana's dish bowl, but we don't have Nana. So the way they've been resolving it on the Facebook group, and if anyone from the Facebook group is watching this, I apologise if I'm stealing ideas from you. I love if I steal your idea or I quite like the idea, it's because I really enjoy it and I think it's a fantastic idea. People have invited St. Bernards because Nana was a St. Bernard. Some have gone the full hog and tried to put a maid's hat on the St. Bernard, but others have just bought the St. Bernard and stuck it in the kennel. That's something I do want to do. Or see if there is a mini figure of Nana, which at the moment I'm still investigating. I don't know if that's possible. There's a very clever person called Ken. I'll put his full name up here. Who is also on the Facebook group. We've actually been sharing ideas with each other. He's been jokingly saying, "Oh, that's a good idea. Can I steal it?" Or "That's a good idea." Or I've been sort of saying to him, "Well, that's a good idea. Could you help me decide how to do that?" His ideas have been really good. So he's done an apple from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the poison apple, which I might do, but I have an idea of how to do it. He's done the Sword in the Stone, which was fantastic. He has done some autograph books that he would get from the parks. He has done some actual books, mini books, from the Disney shows. He has also done Magic Carpet. What else has he done? And he's done... I know there was one that I said I was definitely going to steal from him. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know I did say to him I did want to do... No, I said to him that I wanted to do a music plaque for 101 Dalmatians. Stick that in the music room. That was my idea. And I know he's planning on stealing it, and I don't know if he's actually done it yet, but if he has, we certainly will be in communication on deciding what to do. Because I haven't started it yet, but I've got all the pieces I need for it. The only thing that I'm missing is gold paint to paint over the record that I've got for it. And I've also got quite a few figurines that I want to use. I have a small minifigure of Timothy Q. Mouse from Dumbo, which I'm still trying to decide where that position will be in the doll's house. I might cheekily put him in the kitchen, or I might stick him in one of the baskets, as in he's making Dumbo his bath, because I think he baths in the bucket, if I remember rightly, in the film. It's been a while since I've seen the Disney films, admittedly. And I have two of the minifigures from Star Wars. I was thinking of doing something Marvel as well, but I need to think about what I'm going to do Marvel-wise and where it's going to be. I have so many ideas, but I'm trying to limit what I put in the doll's house. And the reason being is I do not want to overload the doll's house. The doll's house looks cramped as it is with the many different items and objects that we get in the doll's house. It would be a disaster if I added stuff that I was interested in and the whole house just looked cramped, claustrophobic. One idea I might have is I might build or find a little chest that would be right next to the doll's house. And this would be if I do go overboard and build loads of stuff that makes the house completely cramped. I will put that in the doll's house, in the chest next to the doll's house, which I might disguise as a garage or one of the carts that you can get in the garden to put your garden stuff in. I also have, from a past collection, which I never completed or started, a stables, which I may build next to the doll's house. This is so because there are quite a lot of horses throughout the years of Disney. You have Philippe, you have Brave's horse, You have Fufu from Aristocats. You have Captain from 101 Dalmatians. And it may be that I would see if I can come up with a way of putting them in the doll's house as well. Rather than have them randomly in the house and then looking off, building a stable for them, so they can have a place to live. I don't know if that's going to go to plan because I need to check the space that I'm planning to put the doll's house in first. But certainly that's one of my to-do plans for the doll's house. I certainly aim to get as much of the doll's house done next year than I've already done. I am probably going to be so behind. I feel bad about how behind I am. But to quote Building with the Boys, who I've been watching, his doll's house looks awesome. And he is an amazing guy. To quote him, take your time. And I've been taking my time. When I don't feel like doing the doll's house, I don't do it. When I don't feel about doing any cross-stitching at all, I don't do it. Because it's way too awkward for me to try and plan my life around the fact that something may or may not go right. And that's what's very hard. I can be motivated up to a point. But if I don't feel like doing something, I won't do it. It's part of my mental health issues, and also partly, if I try and do something that I'm not interested in, it makes me more frustrated, which makes the task a lot more difficult. You should ask my husband. You'll see when I release issue 19, that was difficult, and that was incredibly painful. But I was able to finish it to the best of my abilities. I think part of the reason it didn't work as well is because I haven't actually glued any of the walls down. And that's in case I get any inspiration. I'm slightly nervous about trying to do the windows with it standing up. So we're going to see what that's going to look like first before I come up with... It might be that one of the videos that I do for 2023 is me eventually swallowing my pride and gluing the walls down. But we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. Is there anything else to talk about Doll's House wise? That's about it, really. Just planning on what to do, planning on ideology ideas on what I'm going to do. There are quite a few characters that I do want to get into the Doll's House, but I don't know how to interpret into it yet. So, for example, I want to put my favourite films in. Certainly Robin Hood. I want to put a reference to Robin Hood in. I don't know yet how that's going to happen, but at some point that's what I want to put in the Doll's House. And there's quite a few of the dresses, which may include May Marian's dress. I haven't decided yet, but there's quite a few dresses. We've got a mannequin, and we've got Cinderella's room. So it could be that Cinderella. Have we got a wardrobe? I think we've got a wardrobe. So it'd be quite nice to put some dresses, homemade dresses that I've made, inside the wardrobe or on the mannequin. That would be quite cool. I might even buy some Doll's House mannequins to put the dresses on. But again, that will depend on space. So everything's kind of... Because I'm on issue 19, technically 17, 19 of the Doll's House. Everything's still kind of in the planning stages. But hopefully by the end of next year... if I do this video again, you'd have heard me go, oh, look, I did this for the Doll's House, or I did this for the Doll's House. Everything's still upside down at the moment, because it's still in the planning stages. But hopefully, things will look up. So I'm going to go back to planning on what I need to do. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, keep the magic in your fingertips, and I'll see you again real soon. Keep on building out there. Take care. Bye bye.